We are right in the middle of the 11th anniversary of Summoner's War, and this time around they've given us a Choose a Nat 5 event, but now it comes fully max skilled and 6-starred. And now that we've been in it for a couple weeks, we also have data on what monsters players are choosing. So today we're going to go through the top 10 monsters chosen by players and talk about the pros and cons of each one. Frankly, the new player list is kind of whack. Like, it's got the fire demon on it right now. Like, I can't even hazard a guess as to how he got on there. So we're gonna focus on the returning player side of things because I think it's got a nice mix of PvP and PvE monsters on here. So it'll give new players something to think about when they want to break into RTA, but it'll also help them with their PvE ambitions. I think the word ambitions would have been great at the end of that sentence. And at the end of the video, we'll talk about a couple monsters that I'm honestly surprised don't make an appearance on the most picked. Number 10, it's Ciara the Wind Oracle. The newly remodeled Ciara, that kind of makes it sound like she's a house. Well, she is a house, dude. She's a powerhouse. Ciara is really right at home in RTA, but she can also be used in arena offenses and guild wars as part of bomb comps. She has a 24% speed lead, and she's gotten a lot of attention recently thanks to the change on her third skill that allows her to absorb some attack bar. Turns out attack bar absorption is really powerful. Isn't that right, Jongnam? You don't know what you got till it's gone. What song am I singing? The one about the parking lot. You know what I'm talking about? Da-da-da, put up a parking lot. That's Jongnam's theme song right now. Ciara is a great pick for folks who are looking for a strong speed lead option and also high damage. She's a great payoff for single target strip options like Etna or Shiho, the dev's favorite monster. Bro cannot go more than one balance patch without getting a buff. My not so conspiracy theory is that someone is trying to make Shiho into the water version of Etna, but that's a different video. We're talking about Ciara. I think Ciara is truly a great pick for returning players or folks who maybe have an RTA team that's lacking a wind damage dealer, or if you need a secondary speed lead option. For new players, less so. There's definitely other things that you could focus on that would help you in more places throughout the game. Like, Ciara mostly wants to dunk on other players, not so much help you clear like 100 floors of TOA, for instance. If you want to know more about Ciara, we actually have a video on the channel about her, and it's me and Stoic talking about her. She's the best daughter in the game.
The daughter that nobody wanted.
Number 9, he actually just overtook Ciara today at the time of recording. It's Zyros, the Fire Dragon. He is frankly looking fantastic after the most recent monster renewal. Zyros is all about damage and control through increasing cooldown times. His third skill attacks all enemies and tries to put them on max cooldown. And so long as they're not bosses, then it's gonna extend it one turn past what it normally could be set to. It also auto crits so long as their attack power is half or less than yours is. And then it increases the damage. Seriously, you should read that third skill on Zyros because it goes on forever now. His skill 2 is kind of similar. It tries to apply dots on enemies, hits multiple times, but then it also has a small chance to increase their cooldown time by 1 turn. So Zyros has gotten very cool recently, but he's always looked dope, you know? It's like, we always just want a dragon on the team. So as such, Zyros is right at home on arena offenses where you can set up the perfect conditions to strip the enemy team and put them on max cooldown. You could also bring him in TOA to do something similar, because oftentimes putting enemies on max skill cooldown is kind of like stunning them, or you can think about it like provoking them. Actually, in TOA, enemies can't proc either, which is spectacular. So they are not getting those cooldowns back anytime soon. And of course, anytime we bring up situations like this, you can also run them on a cleave team in RTA, though it's admittedly a little bit more difficult to set up those perfect scenarios like we're hinting at here. It's much better against AI. Number 8 is Vanessa, the Fire Valkyrie. She has a 33% speed lead, and she is a highly contested first pick in RTA. What's great about Vanessa is that if you're bringing her in a PvP situation, she doesn't necessarily broadcast your strategy right at the gate. She's fairly neutral, but she can skew into different archetypes pretty well. And you can rune her quite differently too. You can rune her fast so she can set up a strip defense break for a big damage. You can rune her slower and tanky so that she can withstand attacks. Or you could put her on Despair and surprise everyone. So for some reason, no one ever expects Vanessa to be on Despair. I still don't. I'm still surprised when I see it. Her third skill is kind of a fake passive. It automatically triggers whenever a unit passes away, and then it'll revive them with an attack buff. Great monster, great story in Summoner's War, to be honest, because she used to be terrible, and now she is picked all the time. Number 7, Lamela, the Water Spectre Princess. Guys, let's be honest. This is kind of a content pick. She is like a close approximation to Velasca, except she doesn't get the additional turn. But honestly, she is mostly just big numbers. And hey, who doesn't like big numbers? Come on, it's just us here. We can be honest with each other. She's got AoE branding and provoke on skill 3, but the main draw to Lamela is that sacrifice mechanic that's leveraged on skill 2. Whenever any monster takes damage, stacks will be added to the count in the background. But if any monster is just taken down in general, it will fill up the stacks to full. Then when she uses skill 2, she'll use all of the sacrifice to deal damage to all enemies according to her max HP and proportionate to the amount of sacrifice that was used, which is important because, as we know, according to means that it scales with the stat mentioned and attack, while proportionate means that it only cares about what's referenced. Also, it should be noted that if the arsenal becomes full, and the arsenal is what holds the sacrifice. We keeping up with this? There's a lot of like unique terms associated with these monsters. Then the cooldown time of skill 2 will be reduced by 1. Number 6 is Bjung Cho, the Wind Dekebi Lord, who was actually featured in the top 11 monsters for new players, if I'm not mistaken. I said it in that video, but Bjung Cho wasn't even on my radar for new players specifically until Michael pulled him, and Michael's right over there. He auto crits thanks to his passive, and he also has built-in damage reduction, and also he'll increase his own damage based on how much HP he's lost. And his second skill is a big AoE attack that tries to steal buffs from the enemies and also heals. And that healing can actually go up based on how much you stole. It's like one last heist. Ultimately, Bjung Cho really loves arena defense. He is a great arena defense monster, which is great because that means that if you're looking for a higher success rate in arena, then this guy's got you. But at the same time, it also means you don't get to see the monster popping off. Though I suppose if you wanted to see him pop off, you could just bring him on like a siege offense or something like that. But ultimately, putting him on a defense position is favorable to this monster. Folks do use him in RTA, but ever since his damage reduction was slightly adjusted, he's seen less play in RTA. Now the top 5 though, top 5 is all stuff that I would almost actively recommend for newer players. Number 5 is Rika, the Fire Occult Girl. Rika is one of those incredible units that's flexible because you can use her in places like Trial of Ascension, or you can slap her down as a last pick in RTA when you see that your opponent didn't pick any will, and she'll sometimes just win you the game, or at least soak up a ban. She's got dots, dots, dots on skill 3. She can slow, she can apply stun, she has the chance to cycle on skill 1. We've talked about Rika a lot, so I'm not gonna hang on her for too long here, but I definitely agree with the number 5 slot. If you're a new player who's looking for like TOA easy mode, she is good for that. Speaking of TOA easy mode, number 4 is Varad, the Water Dragon. Varad offers AoE crowd control in multiple different forms. He can freeze all enemies on skill 3 and reduce their attack bar down to 0, and then on skill 2, he can freeze them again. I think you're starting to get the picture. Varad is exceptional in places like Trial of Ascension, and for new players, might help them clear those 100 floors of normal and hard faster than normal. Faster in the sense of getting that premier clear. He's actually a little bit slow, but hey, slow and steady win the race, as far as I know. You can also leverage Varad as part of control comps in RTA or any place where you want to freeze and reduce attack bars. Number 3, Leo the Wind Dragon Knight, who was, I think, at the top of the list last year for a little while until a certain bird overtook him. Leo is arguably the best counter pick in the entire game, and no one does exactly what Leo does. Leo's passive sets everyone's speed to his, and he will always move first in that situation. This is incredible against the growing number of monsters that have speed scaling damage on their skills. Miles hates this guy. His damage will immediately become negligible. At the same time, Leo can also mess up snipe comps because he'll move first and then he can decrease attack bar. Because I didn't even mention that, his passive lets him reduce attack bar. Plus he's got that sick ignore defense torrent, which is just like the coolest thing that can happen at the end of the game. So for players who maybe don't have a Leo and they really want to prioritize RTA comps and they don't have one, this could be a good place to get it. Number 2, Liam, the Water Weapon Master. This doesn't surprise me at all. We have the key players in both Dragons and Giants respectively hovering at the number 2 and 1 slots. People want to make sure they got their speed teams in order. Folks are trying to burn through those crystal refreshes. Liam has exactly the attack power lead that we're looking for in Dragons, and he functions really well with the already existing Kyle speed team. The ability to ignore defense on the Dragon at the end is a huge boon for the whole team. It's like the final form of the Kyle speed team uses some amalgamation of like Liam's leader skill, Kyle, and then like a Deborah. So if you're the owner of those monsters and you want to make it a really fast team, Liam is probably the man for you. Finally, number 1. I actually just recorded a video about the Teshar speed team before this one. It's Teshar, the Wind Phoenix. Teshar was at the number 1 slot last year and this year. And honestly, it's no wonder why. He is a super reliable way to get a fast Giants team quickly. It's like I always say, the hardest part about building that team is getting the Teshar. A 33% crit rate lead in dungeons means that burden on runes and crit rate is so much lower, because now you'll have the 15% from attribute advantage as well as the 33% from his leader skill. So you can rune Teshar in like the 50s and you'll still always crit on the boss and on the water monsters in the dungeon. Very fun, very fast, and a good way to get your rune foundation started, because it's really important that you get those swift sets that you need, the Fatal and Despair, to start playing Summoner's War and break into other dungeons. So those are the top 10 and why you might want to pick them, but let me talk about just a few monsters that I'm frankly surprised haven't gotten on the top 10 yet. The first is Tetsuya. Tetsuya was originally a collab unit in Summoner's War, but this is his Summoner's War original. Tetsuya has a 28% speed lead in Arena, and he was recently buffed. Whenever someone else on your team is attacked, he will get 30% attack bar. It's very similar to Diana's passive in that way, but I actually think it's way better here, because normally you want to prioritize attacking Diana because she is the damage. It's way better on a support unit like Tetsuya, because normally your threat assessment wouldn't want to dedicate hits to him in the early game, but now you're forced to. He can also steal buffs from people, he can stun. This guy's a monster. And not just in like the strictly Summoner's War sense, I mean like the monster that like is under your bed. Then we've got the Fire and Water Twin Angels, who have both popped off in RTA pick rates recently. They're great together. The Water one has a speed lead, the Fire one can put you on cooldown. Then there's like Zibala, who does AoE freeze and can increase cooldown times, and he has a fast base speed so he can boost up an ally. I could go on about this all day. Give me a monster in the comments down below who you're surprised is not in the top 10 most picked. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching, and let me know who you end up picking from the event.